here we are having a nice little time, right? Would you agree?
Yes.
Why the F is the business world you and I come from? You are an M&A pro. You know M&A really, really well. So well that you've designed software and written a book called Agile M&A.
Correct.
You've written a book on M&A. Why is our world in the business world so damn dud-like? Answer this question for me, please. Because define M&A.
Yeah, was it?
He'll put us to sleep instantly.
Yeah.
Mergers and acquisitions. That's what that M&A is.
That tells you nothing.
Big company buys little company.
Well, hey, wait, hold on. Xerox, who's buying HP right now, is little company buys big company.
That happens on occasion.
Happens on occasion, on this occasion.
You can leverage, borrow money, find some ways to put the capital together, or you get a good pitch that we should just merge and combine our entities and be the leadership management team that takes over the combined entity.
Yeah, those are ways where the smaller company takes over the bigger company, right?
Yep.
But anyway, there we go. There we go. Did we lose Kisan? Or was that all super like, wow, that's amazing? Sorry. No, I'm sorry. It got kind of boring. Here's my thing. Is why I did this podcast. Why I left the business world. I was like, this is maddening. Why is it in a lot of other industries things can become really cool and interesting, and they bring in other elements that make it kind of fun, but like the business world, it's almost like they intentionally want to be less and less and less stimulating. Am I mistaken about this?
No, you're right. I think part of it is maybe the incentives aren't aligned. A lot of industries like tech, software, it's highly competitive, and there's a lot of incentives to keep innovating, driving efficiencies. A lot of parts I've noticed in finance, you're rewarded for inefficiencies.
For inefficiencies?
Right?
No way, really?
Say you're a lawyer and you're purely billing hourly. You're a consultant doing finance diligence. You're billing hourly.
Yeah, so becoming more efficient is not a good thing.
You don't
bill less hours.
Bill for those inefficient hours. So that's one component.
That's a great observation. I never thought about that in my life.
Right. I learned from selling software and saying, hey, this will make your lives a lot easier. It's going to make everything more efficient.
Just to be clear, you sell a software called Deal Room.
Right.
Deal Room is the software you sell. And you're basically selling this to parts of companies that merge or acquire other companies.
Right. Usually, if you think of the Fortune 1000, there's a group called corporate development, and they'll report to the C-suite or maybe the board or a strategy group, and they're the group that goes out and finds companies to acquire.
Chris is leaving, listeners. Not that you guys give a shit, but I do.
Bye, Chris.
Bye, Chris.
Have a good weekend.
Thanks for coming. You're saying that, like, for example, in Google or Microsoft or in Xerox, HP, they have a whole division called corporate development.
Yeah, those are
and
big
that
firms.
team,
They're big. They'll probably have 20, 30 people.
Who? Google?
Google,
20,
Microsoft.
30 people focused on just corporate development. And their focus is, who should we merge with? Who should we acquire with? How should we grow this business further from a corporate development perspective?
Right. And then there's a strategy that drives that, because there's multiple reasons why they would acquire a company. They would acquire it because they have a business line. They want to expand the geography and territory, consolidated industry, right?
Google buying a search engine in Japan, for example.
Exactly. That's, hey, let's
acquire them. Why would we build out Google in Japan? Let's just buy the Japanese search engine.
Right. And then they may buy a standalone business. I like Amazon. Amazon's always touching all these different things, but when they buy Zappos and they let it run independent.
That's the online shoe company?
Yep.
And they did that? They bought Zappos?
They bought Zappos.
And it runs independent?
Twitch doesn't align with any other business it has.
What does Twitch do?
Twitch is the game streaming company.
Okay, cool.
They got all the young gamers.
Doesn't align at all, but they bought them.
Build their audience. They bought it, run as a standalone.
Really?
And then...
Why do they do that? Like Twitch or Zappos?
It's a good business they believe in, and that business has grown and been profitable for them.
I wonder how corporate development pitched that to Bezos. Let's buy Zappos as an online shoe company and let them just operate as Zappos. We will be able to probably... Here's what I think happened. We as Amazon have so much skill and knowledge in this online marketplace that we will be able to pump Zappos with lots of intelligence and money that Zappos management wouldn't otherwise have access to. And so Zappos without Amazon would continue to grow at 10%, but with Amazon grows at 100% a year. Maybe something like that?
Right. There's those angles. So when you look at those acquisitions, they call them synergies.
Right.
Where are these additional value drivers? Is it...
And synergies is 1 + 1 = 3 instead of 2.
And some of it may be the revenue. Can we give these guys exposures or take some of these things that we've learned to ramp up their top line?
Right.
Or there's little things where maybe you're looking at combining sales teams and trying to get them to cross-sell, which is really difficult and doesn't always work out as planned. Or are we just going to combine some back office functions and lay off some people and save some direct costs that way?
John, have we gotten completely boring yet? Be honest. Don't lie. Don't bullshit me.
You should.
Absolutely.
You got to flag us down.
Really?
Absolutely. I'm kind of falling asleep.
Really? Really?
No, not really. I know what Zappos and Amazon is.
Are you understanding how we're talking about merging and how Amazon bought Zappos?
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, neither did I. Actually didn't know that. But he's saying that's actually a cool thing. And why do you think that's interesting?
I mean, it makes sense because, it seems like, horizontal integration that a shoe company would be bought by a delivery service.
Right?
Yeah, somewhere where you can buy products online.
Exactly. They're kind of doing the same thing, but Zappos is a subcategory. Now, why'd you say those are the more interesting ones, Twitch or Zappos?
Just Amazon as a company because they're deploying multiple strategies, right? They're running standalone acquisitions. They're buying things that actually do have some direct synergies that they would integrate. Maybe there's some, I know they have their own private label lines and they could be acquiring products around that.
Who has their own private lines?
Amazon. They have big white label product lines. I mean, huge.
These XLR cords right here are Amazon white labeled cords. It says Amazon on them. I buy bulbs now that say Amazon on them. And it's called Amazon Basics.
And then you look on the software side, a lot of times these acquisitions, when you hear of acqui-hires or just purchasing companies for their technology or people, those are done because there's an identified gap in the roadmap. Sorry, even that was too dense for me. Say it again, Sam. Let's say, what was Ring? Ring was another company that Amazon bought, right? The doorbells.
Oh, Ring? They bought Ring? Okay.
Now, that could have been part of
Which, by the way, I think Shaquille O'Neal was a part owner in that.
I didn't know.
I think.
I didn't know that either.
I believe Shaquille O'Neal bought some sort of security company or some sort of doorbell company that has a camera, which Ring does, right?
Right.
I think it's Ring. So go ahead. So Amazon bought Ring?
Amazon bought Ring, but if you imagine if they had the roadmap to build that as part of their Alexa suite of products, right? Their Fires and so forth. And if they had then the roadmap, but wait a minute, here's already the hot product.
Let's just buy it.
This is the big thing that's happening. If you look at any of these consulting firms' white papers right now, they're all talking about disruption. Disruption. It's all we hear. Everyone. Hey, do you hear about disruption a lot?
Disruption?
Have you heard that word much?
Not recently.
Have you heard the phrase disrupt yourself or die?
No, I haven't heard disrupt yourself or die.
I haven't heard that shit either. Yeah. That sounds badass. What does that mean to you?
That's companies. These are, imagine Walmart just sitting in their board meeting and knowing there's the retail apocalypse that's happening every round and crash and burn of all these major retail chains.
Totally.
Well, how do you counter that? We need to change ourselves and become a digital e-commerce company.
Disrupt the shit out of our own Walmart company.
And we can't build it. We can't do it organically. We're not going to get there fast enough. We're going to have all these other competitors.
Yeah, we're too fat and sleepy as Walmart, right? They're slow moving. They're like a big dinosaur. So you're saying they are telling themselves to disrupt themselves.
And they're doing it through acquisitions.
And they do it through acquisitions by acquiring certain companies that are so Amazon buys Ring, and why is that cool? Because now they just add it to the Alexa suite.
Right. And boom, they got their whole door security system product right there.